I never thought that I needed my battery charged.
Well, mainly because you didn't, because you were out there.
That is true.
See,
you
we
know
were
what?
out
That's
there.
True. That's true.
This generation has a very different childhood. They don't spend the time outside the way that I did and then the way you did in your generation. You were outside all the time. You were barefoot running around, you were in the water, you were always out in the world touching the earth. You were just always out there. So what are you talking about? What is grounding? What is that? That's what it is. It's contacting the earth. Bare skinned is best. There are other ways, and we'll get into a lot of the sort of nuances, but simply it's just contacting the earth with your body, with your bare skin, hands, feet, whatever.
That's right.
Maybe you don't like nature. Maybe you're like, ew, are you talking about going outside?
Yeah.
Are you talking about touching dirt and ew?
Yeah, with your bare feet.
Yeah, and like digging and gardening. Are you talking about going outside in the woods or something? Maybe you are not that person. Maybe you're like, yikes, and you want to turn off this podcast right now. Stop in the name of love. Okay, maybe not love. Stop in the name of earth. Stop in the name of earth. We have other solutions. So if you're not an outside person, do not fret and do not press the stop button. Keep listening, and you'll be amazed at how you, the non-outside person, can still get grounding in a really healthy way.
And it's funny you said that, because you know what was brought to my mind right now?
What?
How many times you all these, my kids, you in particular, would make mud pies.
Oh yeah, we played in the dirt all the time.
Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. And then there's that rainstorm. Oh my gosh, it rained really, really bad. And the lot, we lived in the city, and so there was this empty lot, and it was muddy because it had rained so severely. It was just mud.
Shoes off?
There were like
squish
10 or 11 of us in the neighborhood, right? The kids. And we went out there. It was warm, so we had shorts on, and we took off our shoes, and we were running and playing, throwing mud at each other. We were sliding in the mud. We were mud fight, having the best of times.
And it's funny because what you were feeling was the squishiness in your toes and your feet in that mud. It was such a good feeling.
Yeah. We were also feeling that because people were throwing mud balls at us and stuff like, and it was like, we were filthy. We were just mud down. We went home, and it was like, don't you dare come in this house. Get out there. Where's the hose?
But did you notice how you were all of you were electrified? You had more energy, you were just gone because you were being electrified.
If I'm being honest, I was a kid and I
you
was
didn't
electrified
know that.
anyway.
No, I knew that.
I didn't know. But so yeah, stories aside, there are products that you can still get the grounding indoors.
Yes.
Okay, and we're going to talk about that afterwards. So stay tuned, and we're going to talk a lot about grounding in general. It's also, you might fondly think of it as vitamin G.
Oh yeah.
G for grounding.
Oh yeah.
Or even, any kind of electron nutrition. Think of it as your nutrition. Instead of taking vitamins, you take electrons, right? That'll be some of your nutrition. Also, you might think of it as green. Vitamin G, because the green, the green outside, loving the earth and letting the earth love you, right? So the whole greenness.
That is true. You think of vitamin D for the sun.
That's true.
15 minutes a day, you got vitamin D for the day.
Yeah.
Well, vitamin G works right in that. All you got to do is get it down into your body, into your feet, into your skin, and you just ground yourself.
That's true.
Electrify yourself.
Yes. And
woo!
If you
Energize the bunny. Oh, I thought of that. I'm sorry. Well, if you feel really low, just go on and get out there and get your battery charged.
Exactly. So that's what that is.
I'm
so
sorry.
some people may have heard of electron deficiency syndrome. You're deficient in electrons.
Yep.
This will play a big role in helping with that.
Oh, yeah.
So there's a lot of benefits with health disorders and lots of stuff. And we're going to get into the benefits. I mean, there are a lot of them, guys. You're going to be really pleasantly surprised. You've probably heard about intermittent fasting. You've maybe even tried it. Maybe it didn't work out for you. Maybe you didn't get great results. Or maybe you just need a reset. But either way, we've got this free intermittent fasting guide for you. It's got lots of colorful pictures and lots of information with a 2-week plan to get you started intermittent fasting and enjoying the amazing benefits. So check the link below if you're watching YouTube, and if you're on the podcast, check the show notes. Get that link.
And it's easier than you think.
Yeah, so go get it. But in the meantime, what is it's direct contact with the earth, whether it's barefoot,
right.
grass, soil, dirt, mud. It can be gravel, rocks, stones. You know how sometimes you go out into a park and you'll sit on a stone and maybe read a book or sit there and take a break or whatever. All of these things are conductive, and they're going to give you that those electrons that we're talking about. You could stand up and just stand there and get it. You could sit on a chair and plant your feet in the ground and just on the ground and get it. You could lie on the ground. Okay, I got really feisty the other day, and I had on shorts and a tank top, and I went out in the grass and I just laid out on the grass. The sun was out.
I
so
wish
nice.
I could do that.
I'll do it for you. You can live vicariously through me.
You could do it for me. I used to do it.
I'll call you and be like, I'm doing it now. I'm laying on a
Oh, it feels so good. But you're just energizing me, and it's free.
And I mean,
I don't even have to pay anything for
that's
it.
True. That's true.
Jesus.
Well, you have to pay for maybe some itch medicine after. No, just kidding.
No.
So sometimes the grass is itchy, but find a spot, okay? Also on the beach, if you're a beach guy or girl, beach comber, lay out on the sand in the beach, right? Maybe the wet sand. You know, sometimes you sit on where the water's meeting the shore.
Yeah.
And you don't really want to go out too far. You might just sit there and let the waves come, but you're sitting in the sand. Water is super conductive, so you're getting even more. Any natural body of water is going to do this. Not a pool, though, not a swimming pool, but a natural body of water.
But can you see how we've been doing this all our lives?
Yeah.
And it never, well, for me, I've been doing it for all my life, but we all have. We have, you've been to the beach, you've had the water go on your feet, you've been sitting in the sand, you've been doing something you've done all your life. And I know I never thought of it as being that vitamin G, that needed in order for me to stay electrified, so to speak. Electrons.
Yeah, I get that.
I never thought that I needed my battery charged.
Well, mainly because you didn't, because you were out there.
That is true.
See, we were out there.
That's true. That's true.
This generation has a very different childhood. They don't spend the time outside the way that I did, and then the way you did in your generation. You were outside all the time. You were barefoot running around, you were in the water, you were always out in the world touching the earth. You were just always out there. We used to play basketball barefoot. I mean, we were ridiculous. I know, really. We just wanted to be barefoot like all the time.
I used to ride a bike. Barefoot. I mean, barefoot was it.
Yeah. So, getting that vitamin in whatever way you want to, whether it be beach or not the beach. And people who garden, I mean, certainly your hands are all in the soil. So right. So this is not, when we say grounding though, just caveat, this is not the grounding technique used in sort of anxiety or to bring you down from any type of anxiety attack or anything. That's grounding. Emotional grounding. This is not the same as emotional grounding. No. Okay. This is not a technique to do. Right. This is more of a therapy, a practice that you do as part of your lifestyle. Yes. Okay. So it's a little bit different than that. So the goal is to restore the electric connection to the earth. That to take the electrons from the earth. That is the goal, because they've been lost and we just kind of need them and we don't get them. So that is the goal of grounding, to restore the electric connection to the earth and get the electrons from the earth. That is the goal.